right, look, it's Bob Stelton, completely transformed.
I ate Bob Stelton. As a matter of fact.
It's our friend Hotshot Scott.
Hi.
How you doing, buddy?
Good.
We had a good show today. We had a fun show today. We kicked it off with drugs. They've become, or crime, I should say, has become the story of the week today. It was crime involving Leroy Hill, who at this point we know has been booked in a domestic violence situation. This is the second time this has happened to him. He had the marijuana thing last year. Of course, the Seahawks had their attitude about it, which was he was found, that wasn't his fault. He came back, he played. I'm thinking this time, though, third time in 3 years, that's probably it.
Probably not the charm, you're guessing?
I don't think so. I think a different word, like you're out.
Tough time for him, too, being a free agent. It might make their decision a little easier. I don't know.
Well, I think, they could always, the interesting thing about this, I think, in the case of Pete Carroll and whatnot, is, you could have looked at last year, which was the second incident in 2 years, as, hey, this is just a guy who's getting in trouble a lot, he's not worth it. Seahawks made a different decision entirely, signed him to a one-year deal, and, we've heard from the other guys, the young guys who play a lot, he started all year, there's no problem in the locker room. Yeah,
it worked out.
He's been, you've covered the Hawks for a few years, this is not a guy we've ever heard stuff about in the locker room.
Right. If I would have guessed, I would have said, we'll never hear from Leroy Hill again. He's in trouble. He's getting older. Remember, he couldn't stay healthy for a while.
Yeah.
He's just going to fall off. Well, gets himself in shape, and then he starts the whole year.
On a defense that's, gives up the fewest points in the league and wins 11 games. So, there's not a question that he can still play, but I don't know. The Seahawks have shown that they're willing to overlook a lot. I get the feeling, though, if you're talking about something that actually follows through, this is sort of a second time around kind of thing with domestic violence, and I'm not, we are a long way away from accusing the guy of anything yet. Nothing like that has happened yet. But if it comes to and it comes down that he winds up being guilty, I think just from their standpoint, they move on because they might have anyway. They need a pass rusher, and they need a spot to put him on the defense. They're not going to bench Red Bryant.
Right.
You've only got one coming from the other side. It's got to come from linebackers. So, to me, it just makes this transition easier for him.
So you're saying this isn't the Seahawks of yore. That they're more, not to say overlook what he did, but maybe a little.
Yes, I know just what you're talking about.
Is that what you're suggesting?
I think we've watched Pete Carroll. We've watched him when he was at USC, and we watched him here, and
Snoop on the sidelines, that kind of thing.
Right. A little of a freer, easier attitude about stuff.
Yeah.
I think you talk about a drug thing is one thing. You talk about stuff that you do to yourself is one thing. You talk about this, though, it's another thing. So I'll be curious to see how it plays out. My hunch is that the Seahawks are going to make a move here, not because they feel compelled to, because they think it will make them better, which is why they tend to do a lot of stuff.
Well, that would be nice. I would like them to do that. It'd be nice to get back to talking to sports, too, not people imprisoning other people, and PEDs and fake relationships. Someday we'll be back into sports, right? Someday?
Someday.